Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 23 My Team Career Mode. This is episode number 91 today for the Portuguese Grand Prix in Season 6. If you guys did miss the previous one at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one, as once again, an early race at Yas Marina in the calendar delivered completely. There was so much action and so many different things going on in that race. Obviously, to name a few, Jenson Button returning to glory in Formula 1, doing an excellent job at keeping the tyres in check and attacking Leclerc at the right moment. We obviously had a bit of a topsy-turvy race, let's say, with the slight issue with Verstappen and Sainz, with our front wing broken, fighting back as much as we could. And of course, there was Ferrari, comedy, and pain, as always in this series. It seems like in this game, Ferrari just can't catch a break at all, basically. But yeah, it was a good day in the office for the team. Overall, obviously, if you focus on what Jenson Button did, a brilliant victory, takes him up to second place in the championship, despite us only scoring, 2 points plus the one for the fastest lap. We are still in the lead of the Drivers' Championship, but to be fair, it's way too early to even be focusing on the championship order, although I must say it's quite something to have 3 drivers all on 40 points, Button, Tsunoda, Leclerc, and then Portimao is only 3 points off those 3 in tandem. That's pretty incredible, and then all of that plus 4 points is where we are, so it's incredibly close, and it's only been 3 rounds. And now we go into Portimao and the beginning of the European portion of the calendar, and this is obviously a roller coaster Grand Prix. And last time out in Season 5, we had a very much roller coaster experience as our car jumped into the air with that very random and devastating glitch across the start-finish line, hoping that's not going to come up this time round. First and foremost, though, before we get into the race, it is time to qualify Q1, looking just to get through into Q2, but the first lap wasn't insane, as we're P14, Button down in P15, so both myself and Jenson need to get a move on in this session and get the time in just to get through into the next part of qualifying. Our second lap on our second run does that. I actually did 4 laps in total on 2 different sets of softs, and in the end of it, we still only managed P14, so that's a little bit concerning. Seems like the entire grids are very rapid around Portimao. Button's up there in P5, so it's not a car thing, it's more me needing to find some speed and confidence around this circuit, clearly. The 2 Audis, 1 and 2, as they were at the start of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, so Audi, on Saturday at least, certainly looking like a very competitive team, but they are yet to convert that into a win so far this season. Could this be their chance? Obviously, they had a good opportunity last episode, but Button came in to ruin Leclerc's day this time round. With the sun out, not a night race, maybe things will be different for them, I don't know. And there are question marks on other teams as well. Lamborghini starting off so strong with the win with Portimao. They had a quieter Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Obviously, things didn't go their way at Las Vegas either, so they need to bounce back a little bit, and then, we're going to see who else could join us in the top 10 as we go quickest of all now, as we start to get comfier and comfier with this circuit. Purple in the first sector on our second run here, consecutive lap this is, trying to bring down the fuel, because no matter what you do, how low you put the fuel, you still have more fuel in your tank, when you adjust the setup. So it's actually advisable to go for a second lap always, just to burn the fuel off and gain some time that way as we go green second sector. A little bit of understeer in that second sector, didn't do us too good, but we gained 3/10 just about to go quicker still, and eventually Button comes in with a quicker time. P2 and P3 for us. We split the 2 Audis, which was a very nice place to be. I felt comfortable, and that is my problem, isn't it? That's my problem, feeling comfortable in qualifying, as again, for the second time in a row now, from Abu Dhabi to Portimao, my overconfidence of where we were after a second flying lap puts me out in Q2. Although, I will take some solace of Leclerc a man fighting for the win last episode also got caught out. He's out in P11. Zhou Guanyu out in P12 in the quick Aston Martin. Verstappen's out in the Ferrari P13. So four big names here in terms of the pecking order and, you know, how it's been are out here basically, because Zhou Guanyu should be performing well. That Aston Martin is very quick. Tsunoda's right up there. And even Russell and the Ferrari did very well in P3. So it's a massive departure of pace for Verstappen, Zhou Guanyu and myself as Tsunoda tops the session there and Button just about squeezes in. So maybe you can argue our car maybe isn't that strong around here, I don't know, but it's so close as well on qualifying. You know, the top 10 separated by just over 3/10, so that is a very competitive grid. And to be honest, also the two McLarens and the two Mercs, surprisingly, all four of them getting into the top 10. That's also a factor of displacing us. So, yeah, but I need to really get back on top of that, of not, you know, just fast forwarding all the way to the end. It's an annoying thing of the F1 game that's always been there for, God, I don't know, like the last seven years, 7 F1 games, basically. And for some reason, I didn't even think about it again for the second time in a row. So we're going to cut that out from next episode and make sure we don't make that mistake, because we can't be having this every episode if we want to try and fight for another championship in this final season. But it is what it is today in this episode. Let's go to the grid and see how the top 10 shaked out before the Grand Prix.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and Yuki Tsunoda completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Ocon, Button, Russell, Théo Pourchaire, Gasly, Bottas, Albon, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Zhou, Verstappen, the owner driver, Liam Lawson, Mick Schumacher, Norris, Drugovich, Fittipaldi, Perez, Magnussen and Logan Sargent. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
Right, so it was a solid day in the office for Button then up in P4, showing the car genuinely does have pace around here, which makes it even worse that we're down here in P14. But like I said, we're in good company with some big names of Verstappen, Leclerc, even Zhou Guanyu technically really in this season, in Season 6, you know, driving for Aston Martin should be doing better. His teammates on the front row alongside Carlos Sainz. It well could have been probably another Audi 1-2 lockout if it wasn't for Leclerc being out and Tsunoda capitalising on that. And, well, we're going to have to make up for it, but it's going to be hard, you know. I chose the soft tyre thinking, okay, once again, we might be going aggressive, but the entire, and I mean the entire grid, is on softs, even those who are in the top 10. So whether they all saved a set of fresh softs, I don't know, but we know how the tyre wear can be very high around this circuit. So I think everyone is going very aggressive and potentially already committing to a 2-stop that we've seen in seasons gone by. As we go to 5 red lights, the start of the European portion of the season. It's lights out and we're underway for the Portuguese Grand Prix. It's a slow getaway for Zhou Guanyu and Leclerc ahead of us. We make 2 passes already. We're not at the brake zone for turn 1, and now trying to go around the outside of Max Verstappen, watching the 2 McLarens side by side ahead of us, and Gasly watching on as well in P10. So we're trying to get up into P11. Yellow flags for something behind us as we do get through, and already immediately on the back of Pierre Gasly. Gasly, shock horror, squeezes us to the inside. We try to get down the inside, but we have to be careful of that McLaren coming across us. We nearly bang tyres with the Frenchman, but thankfully we keep it clean this time, and we're up into P10 as I can see Jenson Button up to 2nd place. Then a storming getaway for our teammates. Tsunoda leads the way, Pourchaire in 3rd, Carlos Sainz from pole position down to P4. So once again, Carlos losing it off the front row like he did last episode. There's definitely a little bit of lack of race pace from the Audis. You know, they're very quick over 1 lap, but in the race, things just aren't going their way so far. Ironically, kind of similar to Ferrari in real life, and of course, right here in this season, the Audi lineup is the current current IRL Ferrari lineup. So similar sort of situations going on, but yeah, up in the front. Oh, Button going for the lead early. Oh, this could be amazing. I didn't even think he was near Tsunoda to make a pass. It was hard to tell from the camera angle, but Button tried his luck. Tsunoda's fended him off. Meanwhile, we overtake Oscar Piastri going from right to left on the outside to get up into P9, but Jenson Button wasting no time at all onto the second lap attacking Tsunoda. Yuki's done well though to defend first place in the Aston Martin, but Button obviously having won the last episode, we know how, you know, winning races works for AI. They gain momentum, they gain focus, so Button is energized here and hungry for a second race victory on his return to Formula 1 as we have a go at Alexander Albon in the second McLaren of the day, side by side up the hill, and Albon's going to get the better traction zone. It's very tough to make a pass there. We tried our best, but unfortunately just didn't work. We have a little half look here on the right, but thought better of it because I knew Albon was going to shut the door there, and we don't have the overall pace advantage on the McLaren as we maybe did last season, as McLaren definitely have improved from season 5 into season 6. Of course, we were so used to McLaren being a top team, battling for the championship consistently, you know, for most of the seasons on this game, but these last 2 seasons to round out the game cycle has not been too kind to the Papaya team nor Red Bull as we gain on Albon and finally look to make this pass. He defends the inside, it's fine, we'll take the outside line and just get back to the racing line pretty much as we exit the corner, and we're up into P8 now. We can get on to focusing on Valtteri Bottas and George Russell up ahead who are close together, and meanwhile Jenson Button maybe lining up a pass on Tsunoda, or at least an attempt, because Tsunoda's done well so far to defend against Button, but here comes JB, DRS open, Tsunoda defends the inside, but Jenson Button goes the long way round, and this time he's committed, foot to the floor, and he gets up into first place once again. He is looking pretty damn handy in this race like he was last episode as we get up into P7 ourselves and overtake on the Silver Arrow Valtteri Bottas. Ocon once again doing very well in the other Merc as Verstappen slow in the Ferrari, and the Ferrari pain just continues. Verstappen is out. It was Russell parking up last time out in Abu Dhabi, and now it's Verstappen's turn. Back to back, one car DNFing out of the race for Ferrari, and hopefully for my sake I'll be overtaking Russell soon enough and he'll be down one more position. But yeah, this is confirming that there's not going to be a single season, is there, where Ferrari have actually battled for the championship on this game at all. It's really, the coding just doesn't seem to favour them at all as we go for the move on Russell. He's on the inside, cuts the curb a little bit, we get him on the outside, but apparently we cut the curb too much and we've been given an illegal overtake. We have to give back the position to Russell. He just about gets it and cuts across, and now we make an error on the exit. That corner is so easy, so easy to get the rear end stepped out, but I think that was more us, you know, behind the turbulent, dirty air of Russell. It really unsettled the front of the car, and then the rear end followed as well. So now we have to re-overtake Albon and Valtteri Bottas. So this is not too ideal, you know. Up until then, we were making very good, steady progress as we go for a 3-wide move and a double pass on Albon and Valtteri Bottas. That's more like it, to bounce back, and now immediately setting our sights back on catching Russell once again. But that was a little bit of a speed bump in the road. I felt like at the rate we were going to be able to catch maybe the top 5 cars battling, as we see Carlos Sainz now down to P4 obviously from the start of the race, actually maybe having a go at Teo Portier. So maybe the Lamborghini facing a little bit of tyre wear. For sure Gasly, the other Lamborghini, really struggling in this race as he's out the top 10. So Lamborghini, their first season as an independent outfit, you know, we were partnered with them last season. Clearly that lack of that partnership maybe hurting them in terms of expertise and consistency with both cars, as we now finally have a go to repass Russell after that whole illegal overtake and then mistake we made after passing him. This time, absolutely no mistake about it. We get the position, but we have to do some defensive work because he's actually gone and dived it on the outside. We do defend. We slam the door shut on the inside. But oh, Russell's hit us! No! We shut the door on him and he forced his way through. Russell with some absolute terrorism up the hill. It's classic Russell, to be honest. And we're down to P12. Love it. Absolutely love that from Georgie boy. It's quite fitting that Russell and Verstappen are in the same team, I must say, in this alternate universe of ours. We slammed the door shut here. It's closed. And so... Okay. How he's gone for the move there, I'll never know. So at the end of that lap, we decide actually this is a good time to come in for our first of 2 pit stops this afternoon, because I'm committing early to the 2 stop. I was going to do that anyway, you know, regardless of that little incident with Russell, to be honest. Probably pitting on this very lap or the next lap if we hadn't had that incident. But the fact we had that little half spin on Russell just indicated to me that we need to make the pit stop, get into clean air, get away from him, and also all the traffic that we were now facing initially, you know, because I actually got tucked up behind Leclerc, I think it was, once we got ourselves going again. So now we're in clean air on the hard tyres, and we're not going the distance, but we're going to use the hard tyres to get a good undercut going. Lap 12, Russell's now in for his pit stop. He's on to medium, so he's definitely also committing to a 2-stop, but a more aggressive one. But we've jumped him, and we're 3 seconds ahead of him. And remember, we were like miles behind him after he span us, so that undercut is so powerful to the point where Button's come in now. From the race lead, Tsunoda continues on, as well as Portier and Ocon as well. So Button, seeing what we're doing, has come in slightly earlier and tried to not cover off Tsunoda and Portier and match them and what they're doing, basically. So Button also hoping to basically extend his lead with the undercut he'll get, basically, because if it worked for us, it's going to work for JB as these guys continue on for another lap on what I'm sure are very second-hand soft compound of tyres. And look at this, they're so second-hand that by the time Portier, who was obviously, remember, second place at that point in the race, he's come in and he's only just come out ahead of us, Tsunoda. He was second place and he's 1.7 seconds ahead of me. So that's how much we've gained going so early on the hard compounded tyre. As on to lap 15, there was an Andretti holding up Carlos Sainz, and that's meant that Tsunoda can dive down the inside to try and overtake the Audi, as the Audi is actually legitimately, by the way, in second place there, because he pit early along with Button, and he's actually jumped Tsunoda and Portier. So those two desperately trying to re-jump Carlos Sainz in this race. Meanwhile, Button, his lead has grown to 6.5 seconds. So, like in Abu Dhabi, Button is controlling this race now from the lead, and once again in a scenario at a racetrack where tyre wear is high, Button is loving life with his smooth driving as we see Tsunoda going for the pass and easily powering past the Audi then and gets up into second place. Portier is it his turn now, lap 18 on the inside. Sainz squeezes him a lot more than he ever did with Tsunoda, maybe suggesting the Lambo and Audi are a bit more closely matched in a straight line, and Portier can't get past at that moment in time. And whilst that was happening, I've got a train of Albon, Russell and Ocon behind me, as obviously at this stage now their mediums are better than my hards, because I've been on my hards for longer and their mediums haven't, you know, had too much tyre wear quite yet, so they are pressurising me, but we're keeping them at bay, we're controlling it. We've got Albon at an arm's length of about half a second there, but I can't catch Portier right now because their mediums are just a bit too good at the moment, but they'll start wearing soon enough. But Portier finally gets past Carlos Sainz, lap 19, up to third place, and Russell there having to defend against Ocon as he tried to get up into seventh place, the Silver Arrow, and we are now trying to slowly grow the gap to Albon, and we bring it up to 7/10, and that will be enough for us, because on lap 24 then, we have done enough to come in now for the second stop. So that second phase of the Grand Prix, we gained a lot of positions, a lot of time just with the undercut, and then it was a case of not losing too much time, not losing positions, and just getting to this second pit stop. And that's exactly what we did, because although we didn't gain and we couldn't attack Portier, you know, despite being so close to him when he made his pit stop, we didn't lose anything, you know. We didn't lose out to Russell, even though he came at us pretty quickly. We didn't lose out to Albon, even though he got pretty close to us a few times. We just kept it cool, didn't defend thin air in certain scenarios, and now we're on the softs, on the second stop. And obviously here at Portimao, as we've seen plenty of times in this career mode so far, if you go early enough, the 2-stop pays you massive dividends. So we overtake Norris so easily around the outside there. Such is the tyre wear that all of these guys are facing. I think everyone has gone soft to medium, which is kind of bonkers because, you know, you'd think the AI learn a little bit from previous seasons, but clearly not, as none of them have even bothered to try the hard tyre to try and go longer. Like, if they're trying to go to the end, a medium is going to be pretty difficult to do so, but I guess quite a few will try it as we overtake Drugovic with ease. We overtake Magnussen very easily. So lap 27, 6 laps to go. We're up to P14. Not too many people opting to make a pit stop yet, but now, lap 28, Russell has come in for his second stop. We see Joe Guan Yu and Leclerc battling each other, hammer and tong, for the last point-paying position, but with 5 laps to go, Button's still out there in the lead. He's got a 7-second gap. So, to be honest, with how well he did in Abu Dhabi with the tyre wear, I would back Button to go to the end on the mediums and get a back-to-back victory here. But for the likes of Tsunoda, Pourchaire, I mean everyone basically ahead of me, I would be very shocked if they go to the end on their mediums, because it's just a long way to go on mediums. We know the tyre wear. You've seen the tyre wear on my car, even on the hard compounded tyre. But, oh, JB's in! No, even the tyre whisperer himself, Jenson Button, our teammate, he is in from the lead of the race. He's going to be in for a second pit stop. Tsunoda continues on, as well as Pourchaire. Are they going for it? Are they throwing the dice? Are they going to gamble? Because to be honest, in normal conditions, they did not have the pace to catch and overtake Button. This is their only chance maybe to stay ahead of JB, is by not pitting maybe. So they're going to gamble. To be honest, to be fair, if I was in Tsunoda's position, I would gamble and go to the end, because you are never going to catch Button previously. You know, being 7 seconds behind him. He's out in P8 then, JB is. He's got a lot of work to do, but he's on a set of soft tyres now that are going to be much quicker than those cars ahead of him. And speaking of, here we go then. Button right up behind Pierre Gasly in the Lamborghini, dives down the inside, great overtaking from Jenson there, immediately on the back of Valtteri Bottas as well. I've got to say, this season I've been very impressed with Button's overtaking. You know, I was a little bit worried, you know, what kind of, you know, teammate will we get in Jenson Button? Obviously my favourite ever Formula 1 driver, but in the game, you know, who knows how it's going to shape up. Obviously in real life, he wasn't known for being the most aggressive person with overtakes. You know, it was all about the smoothness and, you know, changeable conditions, but he's been a great overtaker on this game and in this season so far in this BMW car of ours, as we now climb up quite a few positions, as finally a lot of people come to their senses and come onto a second tyre, but a few of them are staying out, including Gasly. He's going to the end, and to be honest, Gasly was out of the points. So, like Tsunoda, like Pourchaire, maybe it's worth for him to gamble, because even though we overtake him, he's still ahead of, you know, Joe, Lawson, Sainz and Russell, so good stuff for him. But here goes Button on lap 31 to overtake Ocon to get into third place, and now he's got a lot of clean air, but there's only 2 laps left to go. Could he do this? There's, you know, 7 seconds or 7.8 seconds to Tsunoda. It's a lot to ask, but we'll see. Here we are then on the last lap of the Grand Prix. We've even caught Ocon, so we're going to get up into P4 as we out-traction the Frenchman to get that final position on the last lap of the Grand Prix. But focusing back up to the top, Tsunoda, no sign of Button near him. I think he's done it. The gamble for Tsunoda has paid off. He's limping home to get P1 today. Button, he's close and tucked up behind Pourchaire though. Could he at least limit the damage and get second place as he gains? Pourchaire runs on a battery into the line. Button's got him. What a final overtake for Button to get second place. It's not first. He's going to be annoyed. But you got to commend Tsunoda for throwing the dice, gambling it massively to get the race win. But what a great bit of determination by JB to get second place at least and limit the damage. We get up to P4 from P14. Solid race for us. Good race overall for the team.
That was brilliant stuff from Aston Martin today. What a superb victory. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
It's time to present the top drivers with their trophies for today's Grand Prix. And there are a lot of people in the paddock very happy with this result. It's Aston Martin on the top step.
Well, Tsunoda's one lucky man. The gamble paid off. He takes victory and he takes the lead of the Drivers' World Championship. But close behind are myself and Jenson Button. Once again, though, Yuki is looking strong. But it was a good day in the office for us as a team. Decent race in the end. But next time out, hopefully we can just solve our qualifying issues next time out. But if you have enjoyed it, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.